Yusuke, Urameshi, a boy who learned energy projective type of abilities like the spirit gun, and the fact he's a human demon hybrid, made progress over the years, even has his own ultimate mode. A guy during his battle with Shinobu Sentry learned how to use sacred energy and mix it with his demon energy, whether it be spirit gun, super spirit gun, when he's in his hybrid demon form, demon gun mega, shotgun blast energy projection, widespread energy shotgun blast, energy punches like Iron Fist punching holes through you. Same with straight up using energy in their legs to kick you, spirit kick, spirit gun barrage, spirit wave as well. It's time, y'all. Yusuke Urameshi, spirit detective student, found out that he's human demon hybrid. It is true that he got different transformations, but not even counting his transformations, his base form has gotten stronger over the years, even energy projection. But let's get it. Even though a lot of this anime is about who is stronger than who, there's times where if the gap isn't so big, you can use some battle IQ tactic strategies in the middle of the fight to get the opening needed, like Yusuke does here, like a distraction to get the opening. This guy used a freaking shirt during combat so the character can't dodge him and wraps it around each other. Battle IQ type moment. Like this is impressive. He does stuff like this to catch his opponents off guard a lot. Even mind readers think they got the jump on him because they can read minds. You in for a rude awakening if you think that's all it takes. Yeah, he just basically got blitzed, even though he knew what he was about to do next. Too fast. Partially able to predict what he is going to do to hit him out of the air. This was a battle IQ moment. This monster was durable on the outside of his body. Then used this to open his mouth up so he could blast through him like that. Skilled enough to catch knives between his fingers. One of his main abilities of the series by focusing his entire body into the index of his finger. He can produce energy projection type of ability like forming his hand like a gun. During the early days when it comes to his blast power, in this occasion he had the ring on to amplify his abilities because this is very early days. He was fighting this monster that was pretty durable, so he shot him on the inside of his body because the insides were soft, but his outsides were durable. Blasting his head off literally made him eat it. Ain't that funny? The spirit gun has different modes of it. Like it has a small version, but then it has different versions of it called the spirit gun mega, to where it's like a Kamehameha wave, if we're being honest. Then you got the demon gun mega in his ultimate form, which I'm gonna get to later on in this vid, to where it's even crazier than ever. Then he has the spirit shotgun where he balls up his fist rather than shooting it from his finger, but uses like a shotgun to spread. It's smaller attacks, but it hits more people, more rapid fire. You got attacks like the spirit wave where it's like when it's close up, they even explain the differences between the spirit gun and it here. Think of this version of the weighted training clothing when it comes to his spirit energy. He wears these things called spirit cuffs as a way of training and suppress his power. They're incredibly heavy. Like I said, weighted training clothing. During one of his training sessions with the Genkai, this is how this stuff was introduced. But if you're a worthy opponent, you got to take him off. Yeah, but how strong is Yusuke? Let's get right into the real meat of the vid. Because you guys already know, since he's a human demon hybrid, it would only be a matter of time before you see an awakening and you see his true demon form. It's like his transformation, or one could say Super Saiyan type of transformation. Everything about him, it just becomes ridiculously magnified to where you don't even stand a chance anymore. If you was struggling with his base self, there's no way you're beating this, if you know what I'm saying. But back to the spirit gun stuff, he can use the spirit gun like on some Deadshot type stuff, using it as literal bullets. Like this reminds me of some Deadshot type stuff to where if you miss his attack, that doesn't mean you're home free, because even when you think it's all over, it'll come out of the blue and hit you by surprise because it's trajectory. In this particular occasion, he uses his energy projection abilities, spirit gun to blow away a distant mountain. As you can see, blowing off arms, his blast power during his fight with Toguro, one of the most awesome characters in the series. He tore through the arena and the forest as a result of their collateral damage, blasting through the stadium itself. In fact, his blast power was so crazy that there was the time he fired a spirit gun that was so big that everybody on the island could see it. He can use it in strategic ways to blow away smoke screens or blast apart rocks, knocks big chunks out of the arena. During his very early days, he can only fire 4 per day, so it's more of his more potent attacks where he can spam punches and kicks, obviously. This will be considered during their scrubbiest days, where they wasn't nowhere near the strength level to even fight Toguro. Them working together to help Kuwabara attack harder against Toguro. Stupid guards of Toguro, they can just blow away, blows holes through ceilings. Then he has giant energy bullets like this that can do this much devastation to the wall like I showed you earlier. His spirit shotgun can blast a lot of stuff at the same time, like messing up these knives, or just put a whole bunch of spray of dents in a wall. Togoro's guards get blasted with the shotgun. And stupid clones, if you try to swarm them, a big area of effect type of attack. to hit you all at once. But what is his physicals like? It's hard to believe that this guy was once weak enough to get hit by a car and be killed, but he eventually gets to the point via training, hard work, and dedication where he can run for 5 days straight and be good afterwards. Chases after cars while he's simply on a bike, or crazy creatures that shoot web or try to at least trap him in a web. He can still break free of stuff like this. To get a good, fair comparison of his raw physical strength is his opponents he had to face and how much they can live, and he surpassed these such opponents. Such opponents like Toguro, for example, he directly surpassed. Toguro had different times where he would use different percentages of his power. 30% of Toguro's power could do this. This ring was calculated to be at least over 600 tons, and he didn't even do this at 100%. Let's just say he was using 45%. That means if he can lift 600 tons like this, then like this, he can lift easily over 1,200 tons. That means even an early Yusuke can lift over 1,000 tons. When using energy projection in conjunction with his physicals, he can blast off people, even if it's multiple of them. One could say to help him get leverage, or just shout you off of him. His punches are so hard that they send you flying very far. It's just common. Or he can just knock an entire block of demons with his punches that many, that far, with a single attack. His father, one of the top tiers of the verse, his starving father, heavily weakened at this point in the series, which can't let you know why he's so freaking strong. Demons simply get their neck twisted with his punches, while tied up. Weighed down defeats him. An army during his battle with Shinobu Sensui, the collateral of their power, over here be destroying Mountaintop and stuff. A lot of the coolest feats in this saga is based off a bare minimum of the energy these guys can produce, in this occasion with Shinobu Sensui, when it comes to his raw power output. Even brawling with Hiei himself, even though Hiei's supposed to be known for his speed, he's fast enough to keep up with Hiei regardless of Hiei's supposed to be specializing in speed. Several thrown boulders, smashed them. He's not afraid of straight up blitzing you or just straight up taking your life, one could say. That's pretty savage. Smashes walls even when he admits he was holding back, seeming to be hesitant. Even top tiers like Toguro, who was giving him mad issues early in the series and he couldn't compete against him, he eventually bridged the gap, messing up his neck with a punch after taking off his spirit cuff. Yeah, blitzing with a volley of punches, hand-to-hand style, and all kinds of stuff like that. Punching you through the arena wall, yeah. Or just punching beings into the stands. This guy be blowing up freaking towers in collateral accident of his raw power. Elbow drop. Yeah, he made crazy power progression. Even against demon bats, they get curb stomped. Zombies, what were y'all thinking? Beings that skin is harder than steel. In the earlier days, before all the crazy training he had to go through, making beings spit up souls. But he wasn't a powered down state, one could say. Kuwabara and his group, y'all don't want none. Yeah, why would y'all try to come up to Yusuke like y'all wasn't gonna get handled? He can charge through spirit blast attacks that are just as powerful as his spirit gun. So he's not just a glass cannon. He can take what he can dish out. Same level as Urameshi's gun, or even stronger. It's pretty obvious this guy can fight fast too, on top of his strength, energy projection. I mean, he takes out guards in less than 5 seconds. When somebody like as strong as Sensui's trying to shoot him, he's already near him before he gets the chance to shoot, showing his travel speed and just reflexes in general, all that. Plenty of occasions of him just vanishing from sight because of speed. He's so fast he can fill up your body. I know, we're getting spicy up in here to make sure it wasn't a girl, during a very split-second short amount of time to make sure he ain't somebody that's fast enough to make after images around Yusuke. Yusuke's able to counter with his own speed and close the distance and strike him. And no, you ain't just gonna run away if I tell you not. This guy replaced himself with a dummy this fast. Another fun example of his speed is how he's blocking all these attacks with one finger, even if they was blitzing. And of course, gunfire is slow motion to his speed. Get blitzed. And when it comes to lightning type of attack or lightning bolts, this is nowhere near his prime power levels either. And he's fast enough to react dark lightning. Lightning is a bare minimum of 200,000 miles per hour. So that pretty much means if lightning was coming at him, his eyes would be able to perceive it and move out the way if he wanted to. Not even close to the end of the series yet. And he's still able to react to some of the stuff here. Of course, he got hit with one of them, though. Hiei hits so fast during the early part of his career, nobody could perceive his hits. Beings like Kuwabara couldn't see any of it. Other beings in the group only saw the first stroke. So they kind of let you know the hierarchy of the group's power levels. They let you know that Yusuke's potential was a beast even back then because he stalled 16 strikes and then he lost count after the speed blitz. Since it is an anime that has a lot of fighting in it, they take their fighting system very seriously and they kind of break it down easy for us watchers when it comes to the different tiers in this universe when it comes to the demons. Yusuke at one point was really low, but by the end of the series, he eventually will rise all the way to the top, even above A class. He's had arcs facing different beings in different classes. For example, Toguro, Yusuke's first real tough big bad of the universe, was only a rank B, and of course Yusuke would surpass this. Other opponents Yusuke has had, like Shinobu Sensui, who is a lower S class that Yusuke had to compete against in raw power, who's above Toguro, a former spirit detective, but he's actually just human with crazy amount of personalities like the Hulk. Or one could say Moon Knight, and he has his own different forms, battle differences when different personalities come out, armors, defensive armors, power in general. And then upper S-class beings like Yomi that Yusuke has fought. To give you more perspective, this series even does us a favor and gives us numbers for power levels, like on some Dragon Ball Z type of stuff, this much, making it easier for us. They pretty much give power levels for the top tiers for us. So let me focus on that and get rid of all these other people on this chart. You can even get an idea of some of the beings under these upper S-class beings, but these are the ones that are more important because they're the top of the food chain. It should be noted that Ryzen, aka Yusuke's father, was starving, by the way. His power level was still this high. The seconds in commands are like nothing compared to the upper echelon. Yusuke fought this being known as Yomi for 60 freaking hours, letting you know that, yeah, he is pretty freaking relative. Even if he had the slight advantage, he's within that range of power of a power level of 1 million at the end. I already showed you earlier in the video on how he punched Yomi, this upper end level demon, above Shinobu Sensui. This is impressive considering how strong Shinobu Sensui was for a human. He was a low S class. This guy's a high S class. Here you see a power level of 1 million. Shinobu Sensui will probably be somewhere around this range or a little bit lower, possibly 100K or something of that sort. It's no exact science to it. So let's understand how strong Shinobu Sensui was since he's way past him now. So it's a good way to understand how raw Yusuke's power is right here. Give you a ballpark on how these upper ones are. Shinobu Sensui has this thing called Sacred Energy. It elevates a human to S-class levels, and he was able to withstand attacks like this and even punt it away. Attacks that cause tremors and attacks that make big craters like that. This is how big it was. There's implications that Shinobu Sensui on his own could blast away Japan, entire country. Matter of fact, it was even implied that Shinobu Sensui couldn't even freely use his power in the human world because it was a threat for the planet itself. A being that's suppressing himself this much, he can't even use 1/5 of his full strength. It'll cause too much stress to the planet. This guy still isn't a top tier of the universe. Look how they talk casual about how they could possibly destroy the whole planet. Doesn't want to just obliterate everything because he loves flowers, trees, animals, and even insects. He just hates humans. Shout out to Death Battle for showing us a calculation on how much energy Yusuke can produce. On top of the statement about Shinobu Sensui lower tiers than this guy being able to level the entire Japan, they calculated this feat for us to show this explosion in the radius it was able to produce. They deduced that he could punch with zeta tons of force, which is strong enough to easily punch apart moons and even full Earth-sized planets. So like Yusuke is legit a planet buster. This boy went from 14 years old, dying from a car in the beginning of the series, to being a legit planet buster by the end of the series at only being 17. But yeah, you respect him. I bet you didn't know he could destroy the entire planet legitly by the end of the series. Yusuke, 17 years old, respect his power. Before I get going, I'm getting anime started back on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Doing ongoing animes is kind of hard to do when it comes, because I'm going to have to make a new follow-up video. It'd be better just to kind of focus on ones that's already done that I've already seen, you know what I mean? But respect Yusuke, but I also got to give a quick shout out to those that took the time to donate to the channel. It helps out a lot, but I'll see you later, y'all. Respect Yusuke. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.